Have you ever wondered why two men the same age can eat similarly, exercise similarly, yet one feels strong, driven, and alive, while the other feels tired, foggy, and disconnected from his old self? Here's a question worth sitting with for a moment. What if the difference isn't willpower or genetics, but what's quietly happening on their plate every single day? After 50, testosterone doesn't disappear overnight. It fades when the body is inflamed, insulin is unstable, and the cells stop responding to signals the way they used to. And one of the fastest ways to influence that process is through fruit. Not supplements, not extreme diets, just fruit choices most men never think twice about. Some fruits act like allies, supporting hormone balance, circulation, and cellular energy. Others, despite their healthy reputation, can quietly suppress testosterone by spiking blood sugar, increasing fat storage, and driving inflammation. Let's start with the fruits that work for you. First, pomegranates. This is one of the most powerful fruits for men over 50. Rich in antioxidants, pomegranates support nitric oxide production, improve blood flow, and reduce oxidative stress. Better blood flow means better nutrient delivery, better performance, and better hormonal signaling. In studies, men who consumed pomegranate juice showed improved testosterone levels and mood. There's a reason this fruit has been associated with vitality since ancient times. Next, avocados. Technically a fruit, and an important one. Avocados are rich in healthy monounsaturated fats, the raw material your body uses to produce testosterone. They also contain magnesium and boron, minerals linked to higher free testosterone. When men cut fat too low, hormones suffer. Avocados help reverse that mistake gently and naturally. Then there are berries, especially blueberries and strawberries. These fruits are low in sugar, high in antioxidants, and powerful at reducing inflammation. Chronic inflammation is one of testosterone's biggest enemies. Berries protect your cells, stabilize blood sugar, and support brain health, which matters because hormones don't work in isolation. They're part of a system. And finally, bananas, when used correctly. Bananas contain bromelain and potassium, which support muscle function and testosterone activity. They're best eaten earlier in the day or after physical activity, when your body can use the natural sugars instead of storing them as fat. Now let's talk about the fruits that quietly work against you. First on the list, fruit juices. Orange juice, apple juice, grape juice, even when they're 100% natural. When fruit is stripped of fiber, it becomes liquid sugar. That sugar spikes insulin, and chronically high insulin suppresses testosterone production. Drinking fruit juice regularly is one of the fastest ways to sabotage hormones while thinking you're doing something healthy. Next, dried fruits like raisins, dates, and dried mango. These are concentrated sugar bombs, easy to overeat, hard for the body to regulate. They spike blood sugar, promote fat storage, and increase estrogen activity in men when consumed frequently. A small handful can equal the sugar of several whole fruits. Then there's watermelon. Refreshing, hydrating, but very high on the glycemic index. It raises blood sugar rapidly, and over time, that roller coaster effect takes a toll on testosterone. This doesn't mean never eating it, but treating it as a daily staple after 50 is a mistake. And finally, overly ripe tropical fruits consumed in excess, like pineapple and very ripe mangoes. These fruits are high in fructose, and excess fructose is processed in the liver, where it contributes to fat accumulation and insulin resistance. A stressed liver means poor hormone regulation. Here's the deeper point most men miss. Testosterone isn't just about one nutrient or one food. It's about metabolic health, stable blood sugar, low inflammation, proper fat intake. When those foundations are in place, testosterone follows. In books like Eat to Beat Disease, the message is clear. Food doesn't just fuel the body, it programs it. Every bite sends instructions. Some instructions say build, others say store, and others quietly say slow down. After 50, your body listens more closely to those instructions than ever before. You don't need perfection, you need awareness. Choose whole fruits over juices, pair fruit with protein or healthy fat. Eat with intention, not habit. And remember, vitality isn't reclaimed through extremes, but through small, consistent decisions repeated every day. because strength at this stage of life isn't about chasing youth. It's about protecting what still works, restoring what's been neglected, and proving to yourself that your best years don't have to be behind you. After 50, the body doesn't lose testosterone because it's broken. It loses testosterone because the environment inside the body quietly changes. Cells become more inflamed, blood sugar becomes less stable, and hormone signals don't travel as clearly as they once did. Certain fruits help reverse that environment, not by forcing testosterone higher, but by making the body a place where testosterone can thrive again. When you eat the right fruits, you lower oxidative stress, and that matters because testosterone-producing cells are extremely sensitive to damage. Fruits rich in antioxidants act like a protective shield. They neutralize free radicals before those radicals can interfere with hormone signaling. This is why fruits like pomegranate and berries stand out. They don't just add vitamins, they calm the internal noise that disrupts hormone balance. Then there's blood flow. Testosterone doesn't work in isolation. It depends on circulation to deliver nutrients, oxygen, and hormonal signals throughout the body. Fruits that support nitric oxide production help widen blood vessels and improve this delivery system. Better circulation means muscles respond better, energy improves, and hormonal messages are received clearly instead of being lost along the way. Healthy fats also play a role, which surprises many men, because fruit isn't usually associated with fat. But fruits like avocado change that conversation completely. Testosterone is built from cholesterol, and when the body lacks healthy fat, it struggles to produce hormones efficiently. Avocados provide the building blocks without triggering inflammation, making them especially valuable as men age. Another overlooked factor is insulin control. Testosterone and insulin have a delicate relationship. When blood sugar spikes repeatedly, insulin stays elevated, and testosterone production is suppressed. Fruits that are lower in sugar and higher in fiber slow digestion and keep blood sugar stable. That stability sends a powerful signal to the body that it's safe to maintain strong hormone output. What makes this so powerful is that none of it feels extreme. There's no deprivation, no complex rules, just choosing fruits that work with your biology instead of against it. Over time, these choices reduce inflammation, improve circulation, stabilize metabolism, and create the internal conditions where testosterone doesn't have to be forced or stimulated artificially. It simply returns closer to where it was always meant to be. Many men are doing something they believe is right, yet their energy keeps dropping, motivation fades, and strength doesn't respond the way it used to. This is where the confusion begins. Because some fruits carry a health halo, men assume more is always better. But after 50, the body responds differently, and what once worked can quietly start working against you. The biggest issue is sugar, not because sugar is evil, but because timing, dose, and form matter more with age. As testosterone naturally declines, the body becomes less forgiving of repeated blood sugar spikes. Fruits that are high in fast-absorbing sugars flood the bloodstream quickly, forcing insulin to rise sharply. Over time, this creates insulin resistance, and insulin resistance sends a powerful signal to the body to downregulate testosterone production. Fruit juice is the most common trap. When fruit is juiced, the fiber is removed, and fiber is what slows sugar absorption. Without it, the body treats juice like a soft drink. Insulin rises, fat storage increases, and inflammation quietly builds. None of this feels dramatic in the moment, but hormonally, it's costly. Testosterone production slows when insulin stays elevated too often. Dried fruits create a similar problem. They look small, harmless, even natural. But drying fruit concentrates the sugar while removing water and volume. This makes it incredibly easy to overconsume without feeling full. A few bites deliver a sugar load the body struggles to process efficiently after 50. That excess sugar often ends up stored as visceral fat, and visceral fat actively converts testosterone into estrogen. Another issue is fructose overload. Fruits high in fructose, especially when eaten frequently or in large portions, place stress on the liver. The liver is central to hormone regulation. When it's overwhelmed, Testosterone clearance, estrogen balance, and metabolic health all suffer. This doesn't mean these fruits are poison, but it does mean daily, habitual overuse becomes a problem. There's also the inflammation factor. Rapid blood sugar swings increase inflammatory markers. Chronic, low-grade inflammation interferes with hormone receptors, meaning even the testosterone you do produce doesn't work as effectively. The signal is there, but the body doesn't respond properly. The danger isn't that these fruits exist. The danger is mindless consumption driven by outdated advice. Eating fruit without context, without pairing it with protein or fat, and without understanding how aging metabolism works can quietly sabotage male hormones. This is why Orine SS matters more than restriction. When men understand that not all fruits behave the same inside the body, they regain control. Testosterone doesn't collapse because of one bad choice. It erodes through repeated innocent habits that seem healthy on the surface but slowly shift the internal environment in the wrong direction. Testosterone doesn't live in isolation. It responds to the internal climate of the body. And three forces shape that climate more than most men realize: blood sugar, inflammation, and oxidative stress. When these are under control, hormones work smoothly. When they're not, testosterone struggles no matter how many supplements or workouts you add. Blood sugar is the starting point. Every time you eat, your body decides whether to use energy or store it. When blood sugar rises slowly and predictably, insulin stays calm, and the body remains in a state that supports hormone production. But when blood sugar spikes sharply, insulin surges and repeated surges teach the body to prioritize storage over strength. Over time, this state tells the body that testosterone is no longer a priority. Stability, not spikes, is what keeps hormone signals clear. Inflammation is closely tied to this process. Frequent blood sugar swings create microscopic stress inside the body. That stress turns into chronic, low-grade inflammation. You don't feel it like pain, but it's always there, interfering with how cells communicate. Testosterone receptors become less responsive in an inflamed environment. The hormone may be present, but the message doesn't land. It's like speaking into a microphone that's been turned down. This is where antioxidants come in. Antioxidants don't boost testosterone directly. What they do is protect the cells that produce and respond to it. They neutralize free radicals that damage tissues, disrupt signaling, and accelerate aging. Fruits rich in antioxidants reduce this internal wear and tear, allowing hormonal systems to function with less resistance. Think of antioxidants as maintenance, not stimulation. They don't push the engine harder, they keep it clean so it can run the way it was designed to. When oxidative stress is reduced, the testes, adrenal glands, blood vessels, and brain all work together more efficiently. Testosterone becomes part of a balanced system instead of a hormone fighting uphill. Inflammation also affects circulation, and circulation matters more than men realize. Testosterone influences muscle, mood, and energy through blood flow. If blood vessels are inflamed and stiff, delivery slows down. Antioxidant-rich foods help protect the lining of blood vessels, improving flexibility and nutrient transport. Better circulation means better communication between hormones and tissues. What makes this powerful is that it's cumulative. One good choice won't change everything, but day after day of stable blood sugar, lower inflammation, and antioxidant protection shifts the body into a different mode. The body stops defending itself and starts rebuilding. This is why fruit choices matter so much after 50, not because fruit is magic, but because the right fruits support balance. They help calm insulin, quiet inflammation, and protect cells from damage. And when the body feels safe, stable, and supported, testosterone doesn't have to be forced. It's allowed to function the way it naturally should. Most men think improving testosterone after 50 requires big changes. New workouts, strict diets, expensive supplements. But the truth is far simpler and far more powerful. Testosterone responds best to small, consistent choices that reduce stress on the body instead of adding more pressure to it. Fruit, when chosen wisely, becomes one of those quiet daily tools. The mistake many men make is eating fruit, randomly, grabbing whatever is convenient, and assuming the label natural guarantees benefit. But the body responds to patterns, not intentions. A banana eaten with protein after movement sends a very different signal than the same banana eaten alone late at night. One supports muscle recovery and hormonal balance. The other pushes blood sugar up when the body is least able to handle it. Pairing fruit with protein or healthy fat is one of the simplest strategies that changes everything. Protein and fat slow digestion, preventing sharp glucose spikes. This keeps insulin levels steady. And steady insulin protects testosterone production. Something as simple as berries with Greek yogurt or avocado alongside a meal turns fruit from a sugar source into a metabolic stabilizer. Timing also matters. Earlier in the day, the body is more insulin sensitive. Muscles are more receptive to glucose, and energy is more likely to be used than stored. Eating higher sugar fruits earlier or after physical activity works with your biology instead of against it. Late at night, when movement is low and insulin sensitivity drops, the same fruit can undermine hormone balance. Portion awareness is another overlooked factor. Fruit doesn't need to be eliminated, but it does need to be respected. One serving supports the body. 3 or 4, eaten mindlessly, create metabolic stress. After 50, the margin for error shrinks, not because the body is weak, but because it's more honest. It responds quickly to excess. What makes these choices powerful is their simplicity. No tracking apps, no obsession, just intentional combinations and timing. Over weeks and months, these small adjustments lower inflammation, reduce fat gain, and improve energy. Testosterone responds not to force, but to consistency. When men stop looking for shortcuts and start stacking small supportive habits, something shifts. Energy becomes more reliable, strength returns more easily, motivation feels natural again. And it all starts with understanding that daily fruit choices aren't trivial. They're signals. And when those signals are sent the right way, the body listens. Most men underestimate how powerful small decisions become when they're repeated every day. They look for one breakthrough moment, one perfect diet, one supplement that changes everything. But the body doesn't work in dramatic leaps. It responds to patterns. And after 50, those patterns matter more than ever. Testosterone doesn't crash because of one bad week or one indulgent meal. It slowly fades when the body receives the same unhelpful signals day after day. Too much sugar, too much inflammation, too little recovery. Over time, the body adapts to that environment and lowers its expectations. Strength, drive, and hormonal output quietly recalibrate downward. The opposite is also true. When the body consistently receives signals of stability and support, it adapts in a positive direction. Choosing the right fruits regularly, not perfectly, reduces metabolic stress. Blood sugar becomes more predictable. Fat storage slows, inflammation eases. These changes may feel subtle at first, but internally, they're profound. What's important to understand is compounding. One good choice doesn't transform testosterone, but dozens of good choices layered over weeks and months create momentum. The body begins to trust that resources are available and stress is lower. In that environment, testosterone production becomes easier to maintain. This is why consistency beats intensity. Extreme approaches create short-term changes but long-term stress. Gentle, repeatable habits create resilience. Eating fruit in a way that supports hormones becomes automatic over time. You stop thinking about it, and that's when it works best. There's also a psychological shift that happens. When men see that small actions actually move the needle, confidence returns. Not the loud kind, but the steady kind. The kind that shows up as better posture, clearer thinking, and more willingness to engage with life. Testosterone isn't just a hormone of muscle, it's a hormone of presence. Over months, these choices stack. Energy becomes more reliable in the morning. Recovery improves, cravings decrease because blood sugar is no longer on a roller coaster, and the body stops fighting itself. This is how vitality is rebuilt after 50. Not by chasing youth, but by respecting biology. Not by doing more, but by doing smarter. When small, intelligent decisions are repeated daily, they don't just support testosterone. They restore a sense of control. And that may be the most powerful hormone booster of all.